Matt woke up before the sun, just like every other day. He was a car mechanic, which meant early mornings and often greasy hands, but he didn't mind. His real joy, his brightest sunshine, was his daughter, Lily. She was 7 years old, with big, curious eyes and a laugh that sounded like tiny bells. Matt was a single dad, and Lily was his whole world. Every choice he made, every long hour he worked at the garage was for her. Their small kitchen, filled with the smell of toast and orange juice, was their happy place in the mornings. Matt would hum a tune while packing Lily's lunchbox, making sure there was always a little treat inside. Lily, meanwhile, would be drawing pictures at the table, often of cars, just like her dad's job. She loved to draw him working, surrounded by wrenches and tires, with a big smile on his face. "Dad, can we read my space book tonight?" Lily asked, looking up from her drawing of a sparkly spaceship. Matt smiled, ruffling her soft brown hair. "Of course, sweet pea, after we get all the cars fixed and all the homework done." He always made time for their special bedtime stories, even when he was tired. It was their little ritual, a quiet moment just for them. Their bond was strong, a warm, invisible thread that connected them, no matter what. This morning was just like any other, starting with the gentle clatter of breakfast dishes and Lily's cheerful chatter. Matt made sure her backpack was packed with her favorite sparkly pencil case and a new book for quiet reading time. Lily bounced with excitement, eager to tell her friends about the funny dream she'd had. Matt loved seeing her so full of life, ready to tackle another day of learning and playing. He was already thinking about the cars waiting for him at the garage, a full schedule ahead. Mr. Henderson's old truck needed a new part, and Mrs. Gable's car had a tricky engine noise. Just as Matt was tying Lily's shoelaces, his phone buzzed. It was a call from Mrs. Gable, their trusted babysitter, but it wasn't about her car. "Oh, Matt, I'm so sorry," her voice crackled through the phone. "My grandson just got a fever and I have to stay home with him today. I can't watch Lily." Matt's heart sank. He tried to think of another option, but his mind drew a blank. His usual backup, his sister, was out of town. Lily's school started in less than an hour, and he had a garage full of appointments. A wave of panic washed over him. What was he going to do? He couldn't just leave Lily alone, and canceling all his customers wasn't an option. He glanced at Lily, who was now patiently waiting by the door, completely unaware of the sudden change in their plans. Matt took a deep breath, trying to calm the flutter in his chest. "Hey, sweet pea," he said, kneeling down to Lily's level. "Mrs. Gable can't watch you today, so you get to come to work with Daddy." He tried to make his voice sound excited, even. The garage, usually a place of loud tools and oily smells, now. The morning was already a whirlwind of engine noises, and Matt's gentle reminders to Lily to stay close. Just as he was wiping grease from his hands, a sleek silver car sputtered into the garage, coughing smoke. Out stepped a woman, Sarah, about Matt's age, with a neat ponytail and a frown already etched on her face. She looked stressed, clearly not having a good day. "Hi, I'm Sarah. My car decided to give up on me just as I was heading to an important meeting," she said, her voice tight with frustration. She glanced around the busy, noisy garage, then her eyes landed on Lily, who was happily coloring on the workbench, humming a little tune. Lily's crayons and papers were spread out, a bright splash of color against the dark tools. Sarah's frown deepened. She took in the sight. A mechanic's shop, usually a place of serious work, now had a child's drawings taped to a toolbox and the faint smell of grape juice mixed with oil. The whirring of an air compressor was suddenly joined by Lily's cheerful singing, a little off-key. Sarah had expected a quiet, professional environment where her car would be the sole focus. Instead, it felt like a daycare center had spilled into the garage. She sighed, tapping her foot impatiently. This was just what she didn't need today. While Matt checked Sarah's car, explaining what might be wrong, Sarah found herself watching him. He spoke clearly about the engine, but every few minutes his eyes would flick over to Lily. Lily, sensing his glance, would give a little wave, and Matt would offer a quick, loving smile back. Even when a loud bang came from under the hood, making Sarah jump, Matt stayed calm. He just paused, making sure Lily hadn't been startled, before going back to work. Then Lily piped up, "Daddy, can I get you the big wrench?" Matt chuckled, a warm, genuine sound. "Not the big one, sweet pea, that's too heavy. How about the small blue one, please?" Lily beamed, carefully choosing the right tool and bringing it over. Matt took it with a gentle "thank you, helper," and even though his hands were covered in grease, he still managed to give her a little pat on the head. Sarah watched all this, her initial annoyance slowly melting away. She saw not just a mechanic, but a dad. A very patient, loving dad who, despite a busy and stressful job, always had a soft spot and a kind word for his daughter. It wasn't just that he was making time for her. It was how he did it with such natural warmth and care. The frown on Sarah's face eased, replaced by a thoughtful expression. She started to see a different picture of Matt. Just as Sarah was about to ask Matt a question about her car, a sudden clatter echoed through the garage. Lily, who had been carefully stacking some small, clean bolts into a tower, had accidentally knocked them over. The bolts scattered across the dusty concrete floor with a metallic ring. Lily's eyes welled up, her bottom lip starting to tremble. She looked at the mess, then at her dad, clearly upset and worried she'd done something wrong. Matt, who had been underneath Sarah's car, quickly slid out. He didn't scold Lily or show any sign of frustration. Instead, he knelt beside her, his face soft and reassuring. "Oh no, a bolt avalanche," he said with a gentle smile, making a silly sound effect. "That happens sometimes, sweet pea, no big deal. Let's make it a game, who can find the most bolts." Lily's tears stopped instantly, replaced by a small giggle. She immediately started picking up the bolts, her earlier sadness forgotten. Matt helped her, moving slowly, making sure she felt like they were a team. Sarah watched this simple exchange, and something shifted inside her. It wasn't just his patience. It was his immediate kindness, his ability to turn a small mishap into a playful moment. In that instant, Sarah saw Matt not just as a good dad, but as a truly good person. Her perspective completely changed. The last remnants of her annoyance vanished, replaced by a surprising warmth. After Lily and Matt finished their bolt game, Sarah stepped closer. "So how long do you think my car will take?" she asked, her voice softer than before. Matt gave her an estimate, explaining the problem clearly. When he finished, Sarah didn't rush off to wait. Instead, she gestured towards Lily, who was now carefully arranging her crayons. "She's very sweet," Sarah commented, a genuine smile replacing her earlier frown. "Is she always with you here?" Matt sighed lightly, a small, tired smile on his face. "Only when our usual babysitter cancels last minute like today. It's a bit of a juggle, being a single dad and running a garage." He paused, looking at Lily with so much love, but she's worth every bit of it. Sarah nodded, her gaze thoughtful. "I can imagine, it must be tough, but you seem to handle it really well." She truly meant it. Hearing him talk about the challenges, yet seeing the deep love in his eyes for Lily, she understood the situation better. She saw the strength in him, the dedication that went beyond fixing cars. He wasn't just a mechanic. He was a father navigating life with grace and a big heart. The image of him, greasy hands and all, yet so gentle with his daughter, made him seem incredibly appealing. "I used to work in a very quiet office," Sarah said, a small laugh escaping her. "So this is quite different, but I guess a little noise is better than a broken-down car, right?" Matt grinned, leaning against a toolbox. "That's one way to look at it. Trust me, some days I wish for a little more quiet, especially when Lily decides to hold a concert with my wrenches." He gestured towards a pile of tools, and they both chuckled. It was a shared moment, a small connection over the unexpected chaos of life. "Do you ever get to relax?" Sarah asked, genuinely curious. "Or is it always work and dad duty?" "I try," Matt replied, his eyes twinkling. "Sometimes Lily and I have movie nights, or we go to the park. Though lately her idea of fun is helping me change the oil." He mimicked a dramatic groan, and Sarah laughed again, a light, musical sound that made Matt smile wider. They talked about small things, favorite ice cream flavors, the best local pizza, and the challenges of finding time for hobbies. Matt found himself enjoying the conversation, feeling surprisingly at ease with Sarah. Her earlier stress had faded, replaced by an easygoing charm. There was a spark between them, a friendly warmth that went beyond just a customer and her mechanic. It felt natural, comfortable, like talking to an old friend. Lily, busy with her drawing, occasionally looked up, sensing the happy buzz of their voices. A few hours later, Matt called Sarah over. "All done," he announced, wiping his hands on a rag. It was a loose connection, easily fixed. Sarah's car purred to life with a healthy rumble. "That's wonderful, thank you, Matt," she said, genuinely relieved. She walked over to pay, but her eyes kept drifting to Lily, who was now carefully coloring a picture of a rainbow car. "That's a very pretty drawing, Lily," Sarah said warmly. Lily looked up and offered a shy smile. As Matt handed her the receipt, their fingers brushed, and a small current seemed to pass between them. Sarah felt a pleasant warmth spreading through her. She was leaving with a fixed car, but also with a surprising new feeling towards the kind mechanic and his sweet daughter. The garage no longer seemed like a noisy, messy place. It felt cozy, almost homey, thanks to Matt and Lily. "You know," Sarah said a little too quickly, "my car probably needs an oil change soon, and maybe a tire check. It's been a while." She knew her car was fine, but she desperately wanted an excuse to come back. "Could I schedule that for next week?" Matt looked a little surprised, then a slow smile spread across his face. "Sure, Sarah. Just give me a call or stop by whenever works for you." "Great," she said, feeling a flutter of excitement. "I will. Thanks again, Matt. Bye, Lily." As she drove away, a lightness filled her. She knew she'd be back, and it wouldn't just be for her car. True to her word, Sarah found herself back at Matt's garage a few days later. She hadn't called for an appointment. Instead, she walked in with a small paper bag. Matt was under a hood, his headlamp shining, and Lily was once again at her makeshift art station, diligently coloring. "Hi, Matt," Sarah called out, her voice a little brighter than last time. Matt slid out from under the car, surprised but pleased to see her. "Sarah, everything okay with the car?" he asked, a hint of hope in his eyes. "Perfectly fine," she assured him with a smile. "I was just driving by and remembered I had a question about the best way to keep my tires lasting longer." It was a flimsy excuse, but she hoped he wouldn't notice. Then she held out the paper bag towards Lily. "And I saw these at the bakery and thought Lily might like them." Lily's eyes widened as she peeked inside to see two colorful, sprinkle-covered cookies. "Wow, thank you," she exclaimed, a huge grin spreading across her face. Matt looked at Sarah, a warm smile playing on his lips. "That's very thoughtful of you, Sarah," he said, clearly touched. He knew she hadn't just driven by and that the tire question was probably just an excuse. He appreciated her effort and the way she had thought of Lily. It showed a kindness that he found very appealing. He leaned against a workbench, ready to answer her tire question and perhaps talk about much more. Their tire question chat turned into an hour-long conversation, easy and fun. By the end, Matt found himself asking, "Would you like to grab a coffee sometime? Maybe this weekend?" Sarah's smile lit up the garage. "I'd love that, Matt." Their first coffee date was. One sunny Saturday, Matt, Lily, and Sarah were at the park. Lily was giggling as Sarah pushed her on the swing, high into the sky. Matt watched them, a profound sense of happiness filling his chest. It was clear Lily really liked Sarah. She would eagerly ask, "Is Sarah coming today, Daddy?" whenever they had plans. This was hugely important to Matt. Lily's happiness was his measure of everything, and seeing her light up around Sarah made his heart swell. Sarah, for her part, found genuine joy in spending time with both of them. She didn't just tolerate Lily. She actively engaged with her, listening to her stories about school and space, and even helping her build elaborate sandcastles. Sarah understood that Matt and Lily were a team, a beautiful package deal, and she embraced it fully. She loved Matt's gentle strength and his quiet humor, and she loved the bright, imaginative spirit of Lily. Being with them felt right, like finding a missing piece she hadn't known she. One evening, after Lily had fallen asleep, Matt and Sarah sat on his porch swing. The air was cool and peaceful, filled with the soft chirping of crickets. They had just finished watching a movie with Lily, who had fallen asleep halfway through, cuddled between them. Matt looked at Sarah, her face softly lit by the porch light, and felt a profound sense of rightness. "You know," he began, his voice quiet, "I haven't felt this happy, this complete in a very long time." He reached out and gently took her hand, his thumb tracing circles on her skin. Sarah turned to him, her eyes reflecting the porch light, full of warmth and understanding. "Me neither, Matt," she confessed, her voice equally soft. "It started with a broken car and a grumpy me, but it's grown into something really special. Being with you and Lily, it just feels like home." Matt's heart swelled, he lined in, his gaze tender. "It does, doesn't it?" He could see the unspoken feelings in her eyes, mirroring his own. This wasn't just a casual friendship anymore. It was deeper, more meaningful. He slowly closed the small space between them, and their lips met in a soft, sweet kiss. It was a kiss that sealed their feelings, acknowledging the beautiful romance that had blossomed in the most unexpected of places. They knew, without a doubt, that this was just the beginning. Months turned into a year, and the one scrumpy customer, Sarah, became an essential part of Matt and Lily's lives. The garage still smelled of oil and metal, but now it also held the faint scent of Sarah's perfume when she popped in, and the constant, cheerful hum of Lily's presence. Lily had her own special corner, now with a small, colorful rug and a box full of art supplies, a gift from Sarah. On a warm Saturday afternoon, the three of them were at the community fair. Lily, holding a balloon shaped like a rocket, skipped between Matt and Sarah, her hand tucked happily into each of theirs. Matt watched them, his heart full. He never would have imagined that a stressful day, a canceled babysitter, and a broken-down car would lead him to this. Sarah, his love, stood beside him, her smile as bright as the fair lights. She wasn't just a girlfriend. She was a true partner, a kind friend to Lily, and the missing piece in their small, loving family. Their journey had begun with an unexpected bump in the road, quite literally. But that day in the busy, noisy mechanic shop, a place of hard work and grime, had turned into the start of something beautiful. Matt, Sarah, and Lily, a happy, blended family, proved that sometimes the most wonderful new beginnings are found in the most surprising places.